Hi Srinivas, hi Prag, hi Rupam. Good evening.
Good
Good
evening.
evening, ma'am.
Good
Good evening,
evening.
ma'am.
Yeah. We'll wait for 5 more minutes. It's a Saturday. At least those of you are willing to join, let them join. We'll wait for 5 more minutes and then start the class. Rupam and Prag, did you check the assignment today? Like, was it already posted in Baba Watch already?
Yes, ma'am, posted.
Okay, got it. Thank you. Okay, let's start the class. Okay, let me share the screen. Can you see the screen now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So before starting with the new concepts and all, whichever we discussed that we can know on Saturday, we can see. Any doubts so far with the concepts we have covered in the class? Do you want me to repeat anything? Any confusions in any of the topics? Let's start from day one. On day one, we saw how to install Node.js, right? And then how to work with packages, how to install third-party packages and then work with them, right? And then we saw what package.json is, how all the dependencies are listed there, and certain npm commands, right? So npm init, npm what, npm start, okay, npm start and all is not mentioned, right? So that also we will see. Okay, in scripts you can just mention the command, instead of going and typing at all the time node dot slash the file name, okay, you can give some scripts here so that it will run. Okay, we will see that. But day one basic introduction, I hope it should be clear. Any doubts on this?
Okay.
No, ma'am,
Okay.
no doubt.
Oh, okay. Second day, we saw about how to handle using request and response objects, right? How to create a server, okay? How to handle certain URLs, okay? How to respond it, and then how to start the server in a particular port. Okay, this is the without express, right? Where only with HTTP package, we saw how to create the request, all those, how to start the server, how to end it, okay, how routing is happening based on the URL. If you are not using express, URL is the parameter which you have to use. But yeah, that we will not be using in projects, we will be using express package. So this is just for understanding purpose. Okay, how to export few modules from the file and how to import them, similar to how we imported, sorry, similar to how we imported third-party packages. We saw how to import our own functions from other files, right? The functions or methods defined in one function using this module dot exports thing. Module is an object, okay? You have a key called exports in the module, and so you are able to attach that. Okay. And then, yes, Rupam, I'm coming to your message. Okay. Yeah. And then we saw how to create the server in the Express framework, right? Install Express and then handle it according to the HTTP method and the URL. Any doubts on the second day class? Creating servers,
And
posting.
here we are not using HTTP imports, right?
Yes, we are not using that. Is the
Node format.
node format. Yeah.
Okay, okay, no problem. Thank you.
Today here you just need to call this express function and then attach the methods and the
Method.
URLs you wanted to do. Okay. Any doubts in the second day class? Hey,
Okay.
Bhushan, Nileshwar, welcome. Hi. Yeah. And then let's go to what we saw third day, more on file system, FS, right? How to read a file in a synchronous way and an async way, and also using promises, right? Another package using promises, how to read them, how it is being sent in a buffer. Okay, all the data will come in a buffer. If you need to encode and if you want to get the actual data in the content, you'll have to encode it. Okay. And then we saw the async way. Always prefer this kind of thing in your projects, because these are all expensive, right? Like you don't know the content of the file. Okay, so let's say this file is being given by the user. You don't know how much file, how much size the user's file will be. Okay, in even if you know the file size also, please prefer this way of doing it. Do not block the main thread of Node.js. Okay, and then you will have to mention, you cannot get the data directly, you will have to mention a callback to get the data. Okay, so the first is the error and the data. Okay, you can read it in this format. Okay, and then we saw how to write to a file. Similarly, same way. Okay, you can have bits and pieces of data, and then you can add them in one go using write file sync or write file alone. Right here also you need to encode it. Okay, what is flag? What is flag doing for us? Any answers? Why this attribute is being used? Nobody knows. Glacier, Bhushan, any guesses? Mode, correct, Glacier, yes. the mode of the file, right? If you wanted to open, not exactly mode, let's go back. This is not the node website. Flag, where do I go for flag? Read file, I don't have flag. This is file
Use it
handle.
for read write operation, right?
We can also change the mode as, yeah, I was just checking what are the other things. I don't exactly
R
remember.
plus WR.
RX. Oh,
Yes.
yes, you don't obviously need to remember it, but you can see here and then find out.
Okay.
I'm just trying to fetch that page the other day, which we saw, right? Flag.
Man, for
This
the
one is
tutor. Yeah.
lots of one, but okay, yeah. So by default, it's R and it's W for writing, I believe. So based on the behavior, right? Like sometimes the file might not exist and sometime it might exist. So if you want to throw an error if it is not present, rather than creating a one, or always create a one instead of rewriting it. So all those different operations based on your use case, you can change it. Okay. So by default, it's A, W, and R to read, write, and append, whereas you can change it for as well. Okay, and then we saw a few things, make directory, right? We saw how to apply it recursively. What this option do? Any idea?
And with this, we can make any number of folder. It will accept that.
Correct. If you have only one folder, you need not give it. But if you have multiple folders to be created, then you can do this. And yeah, so I demonstrated the scenario of callback hell, right? So this is one callback, and inside that you're depending and you're writing the file. This is again another callback. Let us say you have another operation to be made inside. You will be going on listing the callback hell. This scenario is called callback hell. And how do we avoid this? What is a better approach to avoid callback hell?
Callback inside callback.
Yes. How do we avoid this? What's the other approach to deal with this
Promise.
case? Yes, promise based. Use promises based library fs/promises, and you have all the methods which are available here there as well, like read file, write file, and all. So instead of handling it like a callback way, you can use dot then. Much simpler thing would be to use await and async keywords, right? It will do the same job for you. So that is one thing. And then we saw how to append and remove, unlink, right? So did you guys try any other file methods? Any other different file methods did you try and explore? No, but these are basic operations, more than enough. But yeah, there are watch. There is something called rename to rename the file. There is watch to detect the changes of the file as well. Okay, so yeah, give me a minute. Yeah, I'm back. Okay, and then so this is about day 3. Any doubts on how to handle files, simple small files on this topics? No, can we proceed? Okay. Day 4, we saw how to handle, huge files, I believe. Yes, streams or what? Okay, yes. We saw streams, right? So we have multiple, if the file size is small, you can do it in one go and then store the content of the file in the memory and then read it. Whereas when you go for files which are greater than 10 MB, it is not a better approach to store the entire content of your file in the memory and then read it together. So instead of doing it in that way, we do it in as a chunk by chunk, bits and pieces of data. So we call them as buffer. So we have few data coming and then we create a stream first. And then based on that stream, there are multiple events associated to a stream, right? So one is close, open. The other thing which we need to get the data from the file is the data event, where every time a data is being received, okay, this event will be triggered. Okay, so all the bits and pieces, you can receive the data in the data event. Okay, you can attach multiple events like this. We saw how to pause it, how to resume, how to read only one chunk instead of reading the all the chunks, how to read only one chunk using dot read method. Okay, high watermark is used to reduce the buffer size. By default, it's 64. If you wanted to reduce it further, you can do it with this high watermark options. Okay, and then we saw how to do a write. Okay, we will have to use it chunk by chunk only, right? So you add particular chunk using dot write method. You can keep on writing it, and once you are done with it, you denote that using dot end method, right? So these are the methods we saw with respect to write stream. We saw buffer, how to create our own buffer, how to add data. This 13 and all will not be allowed. Okay, so it will be converted into hexadecimal values and it will give you. But I don't think in projects you will be using this. Okay, you will have to know, because your file streams and files uses buffer to read content and give you. Okay, so a good to know one, not much importance is needed and you'll not be using it. Yeah, you will have to know the topic. But and then we saw how to pipe read and write stream together, right? So read, uh, take the content of the read stream and then write it. So this is one way. Much better approach is used to use dot pipe method. Did anyone of you see on duplex streams, transform streams and all? Yeah, implementation ways, it is a bit of complex one, but yeah, know that it is there. And yeah, if you get time, just go on that. Yes, no doubts, right? Like in this read streams, file streams,
No, ma'am.
others. If you have any doubts, this is the correct time to ask.
And
Yeah,
buffer size, we can only decrease its size. Can we increase its size?
yes, you can. You can, but make sure that you are not overloading it. Like you can increase the size as well.
Okay.
Yeah, but 64 KB is still a huge one, right? If you are going to handle it in a buffer, why increase it, right? There is no point in increase the buffer size, okay, which will put too much of load on your memory. Okay, your server will not have the ability to handle multiple requests. Okay, so decreasing is the better option, else leave it with the default itself. Okay, and then yeah, day 5 and 6, I think we saw yesterday as well. We were trying to handle multiple operations, the get operation, post using JSON, right? How to handle them and how to filter it, how to read the query params, request.query, how to read the parameters in the path itself using the, how to have dynamic routes, and how to read the parameters inside the handler. And then we saw how to get the request.body. For this, you will have to add a middleware express.json. Okay, any doubts in this part? How to serve static files? How to send status codes based on the scenario? How to send it? How to read content from the JSON file? Write the content to the JSON file using file streams. Sorry, file systems. This is important. This is what you will be doing in an application in the project, right? You will be having CRUD operations only, most probably. Okay. Like this would be the starting point in any of the project. Let's say you develop any project. Let's say you are developing an e-commerce site. Okay, ultimately you will have to do the get, put, post methods. That's the core of the project itself. So you need to know the HTTP methods, you need to know validation, all those is important. Okay, this is how you will be doing in an actual project. Yes, you should add validations here and there. We have just seen the handling part, not much details is given, but this is how you will start. So you should know the difference between all these. Any doubts on handling API calls? Hi Rahul, Amanjot, yeah. Hi Shubham. Okay. So day 6, we saw more about middlewares. Okay, what middleware is doing. I told you that this handler itself is a middleware because it is anything in between, any function, any program in between the request and the response are called middlewares. Middlewares are executed in the order you give. Did anyone try rate limiter? Shubham, Srinivas, did you try this rate limiter library? Try that, try to implement that in your project. It will be a good add-on to your projects because nobody handles all these. See, everybody will do this. If you see here, everybody will have the API operations. Everyone will do the CRUD operations, like reading, deleting, adding the database. Everyone will do validations for the data. Okay, something similar, if you give importance, that is something you are standing out from others. Okay, have rate limiters, try to log all the events which are happening. Okay, you can extend the capability and bring in more, how add a readme file to a project. Okay, readme, have you heard about that readme.md? In every GitHub repository, if you go here, can you see the readme.md file? Okay, this will tell more about what the project is about, how it is being created, how someone, if they are cloning, let's say I'm cloning this project, how can I run that in the local? What are the features you have implemented? Everything about the project should be listed here. Do you think people will go each one of your file and then check all the features you have done? No, right? So it's better that you add screenshots of your project, tell people how to run it in local, what are the features you have implemented, add screenshots of your project. Okay, these and all, many of them, if 90 people are doing a project, at least 50 of them will not have a README file. Okay, you need to have a README file. Tell the users, whoever is visiting, that these are the content I have in my project. Add screenshots. Okay, reduce their job. That's the point here. Okay, add this kind of rate limiters and all. Nobody would have, in the personal project. Obviously, in production level projects, this would be there because they don't want their servers to be hampered. Okay, in personal projects, most of them will not handle all these. Okay, rate limiting, no monitoring, and then logging and all. If you have your own logger or if you have external libraries, at least that if that feature is present, your project will stand out. Testing. Okay, we will learn about few testing frameworks. Okay, personal projects, none of them will add testing and all. If you add all that, it will demonstrate that you are concerned about all these as well. Instead of just developing the feature, this and all everyone can do. If they know how to handle APIs, everyone can do this API and all. This extra things, if you handle, if you will stand out, and it's extra marks for you. Okay, from people who, let's say 20 people are applying for a job, and if you have handled this, it's something good about you and you will stand out. Okay, go and learn about what CORS is. It's cross origin resource sharing. You learn about that. Yes, if we have time, I'll try to cover that and all. But yeah, you can read about that. Use this Morgan library and all. Okay, so there are plenty of things. Explore. Don't just develop this CRUD operations, link it to the database and then leave the project. Okay, enhance it as much as possible. Give importance to this side things and all. Okay, so let's continue with that. And then we saw these are all application level middlewares, right? If you add dot use and then add a middleware for every route, okay, that middleware will be applied. If you wanted the middleware to be applied only to certain calls, you add them in comma separated things. Okay, this is a middleware, right? If you want the middleware to be applied before that, you add here. If you want middleware to be applied after it, you can add there as well. Any doubts on middlewares? Bhushan, Nileshwar, Prag, Rahul, Rupam, Shubham? No. Srinivas? No. Okay. Hi, Abhishek. Yeah. If there is no doubts, we will see more about what today, what I have. Do you want to discuss anything else? What I have planned is, I have planned to discuss about package and package.log JSON, how versioning and all is happening. And I have thought about showing how to read data from form. We saw JSON format of input only, no, right? We saw the post. Here we saw JSON data only. Okay, we used JSON parsing only. Not every time you can expect the data as a JSON from your client. There might be possible that you give form data. I thought of explaining these two. If you have anything else, I can proceed with that. Else, what do you say? No comments? Okay. CSV CRUD operation. I have a parser for CSV. Yes, I will show that as well. I did have some.
Can we do without that npm package, CSV
Yes,
parser?
you can do. See, if you do here, see, if you see the content, you will get it like this only. So the first line, you will get this one. Okay, and the second line, you will get this one. But in order to, you know, program in a better way, you need to get the data in certain format, right? So let's say if you are getting July, you should know that month is July. Okay, and the heading, this is the heading. Okay, this is the year and the number of air travels made in that year, I believe. Okay, some sample data I have taken. If that is the case, it should state like month is July and 1958 is this one. Okay, we will try to first do it the usual way. Okay, and then try to compare with any third party packages. No, let's learn what's the difference in both of these packages are doing it for you. Okay, if it is helpful, we can use. Else, if you don't find that it is helpful, we cannot, right? Depends on how you are parsing the data and how you are using the data. Okay, I tried importing it. You get this entire content. Okay, but to program this CSV kind of a data will not be that much helpful. Okay, just getting this line will not be helpful. You need to parse every content. Okay. Yeah, we will see. We will see that. I'll show you. CRUD operations, Rupam and Prague. Mostly CRUD operations will be done in JSON format only. Okay, if you wanted to do it, you can read it from CSV and add it to a file. That we can see. Okay, we will
And we
try
have to
to.
do CSV to JSON, then we do CRUD, and then again we have to convert that JSON to CSV or something else.
Yeah, yes, the thing is edit, delete, no, post is okay. Editing and all, you need to parse your CSV file, find where the content is. Your programming like JavaScript is more, no, it supports JSON format of files. You can handle because it's a JavaScript object, right? JSON format. So you can handle it in a better way with in JavaScript rather than handling it as a plain text from CSV. So that's the reason people convert it into JSON format and then try to read it. Okay, it's not mandatory. You can do it in whatever way you want. Let's say you are reading directly as a CSV file. You will have it as a text only, right? Strings, correct? So it will be difficult to, you will have to do a lot of things to handle it in JavaScript, the plain text. Okay, it will just simplify, your job will be simplified if you need, if you convert it into a JSON file and then read it, JSON format and then read it. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. Let us go to package files. Okay, we will see about this versioning. Okay, why package.log is important. Okay, why it's not necessary always, but it's good to have. Okay, you have this thing, right? Dependencies, and then okay. So you, in the first place, in order to define the version, okay, you have either or, this caret symbol, okay, or this symbol, or the nothing, no symbols also. Okay, and three versioning X, Y, and Z. Okay. This X, right? This X is called major version, like version 1, version 2, version 3, the first one. Okay, this is called major version. This is called minor, and this is patch version. Okay, clear? If you say 1.3.4, this is patch, this is minor, and this is major version. Okay, and patch version, okay, let's say current version is 3.4. You need to, people will increase this to 1.3.5 when they are doing any bug fixes. Okay, bug fixes which will not break the existing. Okay, this patch will be increased when they are doing bug fixes. Okay, it will not break the existing behavior, meaning you will not get any error just because you are updating it from 4 to 5. You will not get any error in the existing thing, but we are doing certain bug fixes, so we have increased the patch version. Understood this one? Minor version is when you introduce any new features, and it is a new feature, but your existing and all will not break. Again, will not break. Do you understand by what I mean by will not break? Already people are using the packages, right?
Adding the
Yeah.
features like
Yes. So already I have Express server. Okay. So already in from Express, I am using this. Where is that? I am using a function. Let's say people have changed this instantiating function itself, to something a different kind. Or let's say they have changed the name as get request. Instead of just get, they have changed as a get request. So now every project where you have only get, will it break or will it not break? it will give you an error, right? So now if the express library has changed this method from get to get request, means all the projects which are using this express should change their code to get request. Only then it will run. If they have the same thing existing, it will give them an error. It is not the expected behavior, right? So this is what I mean by will break the existing behavior. Whereas, let's say they are adding a new function. Okay, let's say they are adding some random function. Okay, that is not going to break the existing, that is not going to disturb what your get or what your use is doing, dot use is doing. Rather, it is an additional feature which they have added, which is not breaking the existing one. Okay, and understood the difference by adding new features and will not break the existing one. Similarly, this will also will not break. Okay, your previous thing, whichever you have used, will still be working and you need not worry about it. Okay, these are minor versions and patch fixes. Okay, people will increase major versions. If you see here, React 15, React 16, React 17 and all are major changes. Okay, when they are changing it entirely, when they are changing the entire structure, which will include breaking changes as well. Okay, entire structure or a group of features, like multiple features they might have added, and it will also break the existing behavior. If you have used version 1 and if you have written your code, if you update it to 2.0, your system will not work as it was working with version 1. There must be some major changes going on, which you will have to know and then correct accordingly, and then only update. Simply, if you update your project which you have written with version 1 will break. Okay, understood the differences? You will always not be working when you go to companies and all. You will not always be working in customer facing projects. Okay, I am working in some library which other applications are using. Okay, so we need to update these versions and all very correctly. Okay, so you need to know which thing should be changed. Based on the changes that your library is making, you should know whether I should update the patch version or the minor version or the major version. Accordingly, whoever is using my applications will change it. Okay, I am working on something, a library like this, where multiple applications within PayPal are using. Okay, an internal library where 5 to 6 applications are using this library to render their UI. Okay, so you will be mostly working on these libraries where you will have to post them in the npm, and people will be installing it from npm and then using it. Okay, so this is the thing. Now, if we go to package.log JSON, let's go to package.json. Okay, this caret symbol simply means, okay, let us say you have 4.5.17. Okay, if this is there in my package.json, if you don't give this, exact version will be installed. Okay, if you give this symbol, means I can install any higher versions. Okay, any higher versions in minor and patch version, but it will not update no major version. Understood? If this is my current version, I can accept 4.6.0. This will be accepted. 5.19. This will be accepted. Anything greater than 4.5.17 will be accepted, but less than 5.0.0. Understood? This will not be accepted. Major version update will not be doing. Okay, the maximum you can go is anything less than 5. Understood? So if I give If I give 4.17.3, if the Express have a version called Express 5th version, okay, even though the Express has released 5th version, whenever I do npm install, my npm will not install the latest major version or not. It will try to install the major version, whatever I have given. And if there are any major and patch releases, it will accept it. Anything other than major and patch releases, major releases will not be accepted. If there is a version nodemon 3.0.1, okay, that will not be installed. Okay, at most minor version update and patch version update will be accepted if you give this caret symbol. Understood? Any doubts on this part, how your npm is handling this one? If you always try to give this one, okay, because it is not breaking, right? Even if they update the version, it is a non-breaking change. Your existing code will still work. Okay, there might be some bug fixes, some new features, okay, which you don't want to miss. So always try to use this caret symbol in your application. Don't leave it empty like this. Okay, let's come to this symbol. Okay, if you give this, major and minor change will not be installed. If there is any additional patch version, it will be installed. Meaning, if this is the version which you have mentioned in the package.json, 4.5, 27 or 36, all these patch version updates will be installed, will be accepted. But if 4.6.0 will not be accepted. Here major, minor and patch will be accepted. Here only, only patch will be accepted. This should be the same. Major and minor version should be the same. Okay, some people prefer, not having additional features and all, right? If there is any bug features, you do that. I don't want any additional features and all, so I don't want that. In that case, in certain particular packages alone, people prefer using this. But mostly, if you see, they will stick with this symbol only, because as I told you, minor version update and patch version update will not break the existing code. Okay, your project will still be working even if you update. It will be in a better state only. Okay, but major version you need to check and then update carefully, because there is breaking changes. Okay, so after a lot of testing only, you will need to manually update the major version, else your npm install will not take that into account. Major versions will not be installed itself. Only if you give that number, it will be installed. Understood what package.json dependencies are doing? Any doubts on this?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so let's go to this package.log. Okay, as I said, let us say you gave version 4.5.17. Okay, in your package log JSON. Sorry, in your package.json, you have this version. Okay, you have installed the same version and you are working on it, and you have deployed it in the GitHub. Okay, someone is contributing to your project. Okay, your teammates are working. They'll clone it in the package. They'll clone it after a month or two, let's say. Okay, in the package dot JSON. Okay, you will still have the same version. Okay, caret 4.5.70, you will still have the same version only. Okay, so when they are installing, let's say this is an Express package, and Express have updated to something called 27. Okay, the patch version has been increased. Now, even though you have mentioned 17 only here, even though in the package.json you have 17 only, I told you, right, when I do an npm install, this symbol means any changes in the minor or patch version will be updated. So when he or she does npm install, what is the latest version of Express now? 4.5.27 will be installed in their system. It contains some bug fixes, right? Correct or not? It might contain some bug fixes. So the behavior of the project in your case and in your teammates case will not be same. Okay, you might be getting some error, but your teammate might not be getting that error. Okay, so because his or her version is up to date and it has some bug fixes, so it is like same project, same version I have mentioned in the package.json file, but different behavior will be observed. You don't want that situation, right? So you want same things, same library to be used across team, so that you don't end up in a situation like this. So instead, what people do is, that is the reason package.log.json comes into picture. Okay, what it will do is, if you go and see package.log, it will just, if you see here, dependencies, these are other dependencies which we have. If you use body parser, can you see the exact version 1.19.2? This is the version I have installed currently in my machine. Okay, this is the version I have installed currently in my machine. Let us say, let's go back to here. The body parser is not present, but yeah. This is day 5. Okay, day 4. Let's go to day 4. Okay, 1.2.14 is for PDF reader. Let's go to PDF reader in the node, not node module, sorry. PDF reader. Okay. This is the current version which I have installed. Okay, currently. After a month or so, okay, this PDF reader might have released 17 or 18. Okay, they might have released. Okay, if you have only package.json, your npm will take the version from here only. So it will try, since you have mentioned 1.2.14 and the PDF reader has 1.2.14, and your PDF reader has released some patch fixes and it is 1.2.17. Okay, so when it sees this kind of symbol from package.json, okay, it will go and install whatever the recent version is. 17 is the recent version, so it will install that in your friend's system. So what this package.log.json is doing is, it will, if you have a package.json, package log, it is simply used to lock the version. Meaning, if you have installed 1.2.14 and if you push this file to the GitHub, okay, if you push this file to the GitHub, okay, let's say your teammate is downloading this. Now he or she will be having this log file, right? So when you are doing an npm install now, instead of npm, what it will do, it will go and check the package.json only, no? So if you have a package.log.json file, first it will go and check there. Okay, in the package.json, I have 1.2.14 only. If there is a content or in the package log.json, first npm will install this library only. When you do npm install, it will check package log. Okay, if there is a version mentioned, it will install that correct particular version only, instead of installing 1.2.17. Understood the difference? It is just used to lock the packages so that multiple people in a team do not end up working in different versions. Only if this package log.json is not present, then it will go and check the package.json. If log file is present, it will go and install the same version which is present in the file. It is just used to log the versions only. Okay, if you see here, PDF reader, it will mention the correct version which your teammate has. Okay, so now if I do an npm install, it will first go and check the package lock. If there is a version mentioned, only that version will be installed instead of installing the latest versions. Any doubts on how this is working? Everyone understood?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
Yes. Okay. If you see here, it doesn't lock your version alone. It will also lock all the dependencies as well. If you see here, all will be locked. Whatever the version currently your teammate is working, all the versions will be locked. Even the sub dependencies, if you see here, raw body might be a package. It requires all these, all of the versions will be locked. So it ensures that multiple people in a team are working in the same file. So when you are doing group projects, it's better to push the package.log JSON also to the GitHub. Else you will end up in multiple issues. Any doubts on this? A good to know one. Okay, my some people might know wish to ask this in the library in the interview and all. What is this? Is it mandatory or not? Not mandatory, right? It's not mandatory. Okay, even if it is not there, it will still go and check the package.json and then install it for you. Okay, if it is there, that particular version alone will be installed. Basically, the lock by the name itself, you should understand, right? Locking means do not go anything above that and please install the exact version. Okay. Any doubts on this part? Can we see how to get form data, HTML form data?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yeah, okay. So far, we have been dealing with post. If you go and do to post, we were asking for body, right? Request.body. Since we were sending JSON format of files from the postman, do you remember I clicked body and then I said that it is a JSON format, right? So we were dealing with only JSON data as of now. Okay, that you cannot expect the client to always send JSON data. Okay, I will take the example of a form. Okay, and then show you how data is being passed from HTML form. Okay, so this is the HTML file. Let's comment this. Control A. Okay, probably let's take something from our HTML form class. Okay, let me take this form. Okay. So this is a simple form. What do let's run this. Copy path. Let me go back to my browser. This is a simple form. So whenever you give data, right, at gmail.com, any data you give and give a submit, can you see the data being passed as query params? Why is it adding as a query param? What method? What is the method here? HTTP method. What method?
Yeah. Post one.
We should ideally be posting, but what it is happening as of now? If it is being added, if your form content is being added in the URL, what HTTP method should it be?
what method?
It is a get by default. Okay. So if you don't change the method, it is get by default. So your form, right, a HTML form tag will always try to put all the data which you give as a query param only. Do you think you can pass users data in this way?
Nope, it's
No.
No,
dangerous.
right? You should send it in request.body only. So what do you need to do here? You need to change the method to
Post.
post. If it is an edit, you can change it to post. Put, let's say if it is an adding the resource, it's a post method. Let's say I'm doing that. Okay. Now, what is the default URL will it be posted? Let us go to inspect. We go to network. We reload it. Give some sample data. Okay. If you see here, post method working, we have changed the method, so it's working correctly. So if you go and see the payload, yes, data is being sent. But can we change this URL? What do we need to do to change this URL in the form tag? In the form tag, what do we need to add? What attribute do we need to add to change the default URL? If you see here, the default URL will be the current file itself. Okay. How do we change the URL? What attribute do we need? Can you quickly browse and tell me? Everything is not expected to be known. If you don't know, can you quickly browse here? I want to change the URL in which it is posting. It is posting in the same URL itself. I want to change it to a server URL. I want to change it to localhost 8000/post. That is where I'm handling the server code, right? That is where we have the server code /post. I want to change that URL to for the content to be posted in this one, localhost 8081. So do you think of any attribute that we need to add to
Action.
change?
Action.
Yes, action. Okay, good. So we need to add action, and let's say I need to add action. Let's say I can mention /localhost 8080. This is not the only way to pass data from the client. Okay, so you can have a method here, get all the data by JavaScript, construct a JavaScript object, and then send as a JSON only. That also you can do. People prefer to do that only. Okay, send and receive data, okay, in a JSON format is the most preferred way. Okay, what usually happens is you need to add a JavaScript method here, a client method, and inside that method you need to construct the object, okay, whatever you want to send the data to. Okay, however you wanted to send. Let's say you wanted to construct a data like this. Based on the form's value, you should construct a JavaScript object and then send it as a JSON in the method. Okay, that is one way. We will see how to send the data directly from the HTML form itself, instead of having a method, converting it into a JSON and then sending it. Let us see how to send it from the form itself. By default, form attribute has some behaviors. If you change it to post, form tag will by default send that data for you. Let us see the format in which it sends. Okay, post is the URL, right? Post is the URL. Everyone agree with me on this part? Let me go back, reload. Let me clear all this. Now, if I give some data and then change the content, if I submit now, okay, it's failing. That's not our issue, but it is being redirected to our server. Yes, did we achieve that part?
Yes.
Yes. So let's see the payload here. If you see here, form data, let me go to Postman and show you. In body, you can form, as of now, we have been seeing the raw data and we chose JSON and we were sending. Can you see form data URL encoded, binary, GraphQL, all those? There are different formats by which the client can send the data to you. We have seen only one format, JSON format. Yes, plain text also will work. Okay, a different format, only one we have seen, the JSON. but your form attribute is sending it as a form data. Can you see encoded one and the decoded one? As of now, we haven't applied any encoding here, but can you see form data here?
Right.
Yes. So how do you pass? If I go and, let me start that server. Let me start the server. Is it day 5? Okay, this is day 5. This is what I want to redirect to. Yes, post. node./app.js. Okay, I hit enter. Now let me go and post the data again. Can you see 200 being sent? Your server is receiving this data. I have empty data only for 2 of this I have. The server is receiving this data. Okay, nothing wrong from the client side. Is that okay? Nothing wrong from the client side. And you are receiving the response also as successful. But let's go back and see what is happening. Okay, I'm trying to print body here. Okay, in line 57. Okay, can you see empty being done? Empty object, right? Why is it empty? Even though your server, your client is sending the gender details, hobby details, and other also, but it is empty. Even though your server client is sending data, you are not able to receive that data in the backend. It is empty. Why? Any reason for that? But
Actually, what
I was,
going
yeah, but I was able to. No, let me do the post here. Let me do the post here. Let me have JSON. Okay, do I have any sample data? Okay, let me copy this. Let me change this as post. Now, if I try to send from like a JSON format, can you see now the body entire data I get? Right, I don't worry about the actual data, but here when I try to send it from the HTML form, even though it is being sent, my body is empty. What is the reason?
We are not sending the JSON formatted.
Yes, correct, Rag. Okay, we have told the Express server that I will receive parse data in the JSON format only. Did we not tell that? If you don't have this, if you didn't tell this, even whatever is printed JSON format, right? Even that will not be available. Just because you have told your Express server that parse JSON format of data, it is giving you. But the kind of the data which you are getting from the HTML form attribute is not JSON, it is form data, right? So you need to tell your Express server handle form data as well, not only JSON but also form data. So you need to use Express. Okay, similar to how you have .json, you have something called URL encoded. Can we try to hit the server now from the client? Okay, reload it. Let us not add data now. Let's try to submit. Same data is being gone, and I got an thing here. I think the server is not restarted. If you add middlewares and all, you'll have to restart. Okay, let's try to hit again. Okay. Can you see the body being printed now? The entire data which I have in my form data?
Yes, ma'am.
Just because I added this middleware, I was able to get that in body. You have again mentioned to your Express server, I am not only going to get JSON data, I am also going to get form data. I will tell you form data, there is form data, plain form data, and there is encoded one. We will learn more about it later. Okay. Not all data will be sent plain like this. Okay. Have you tried? I don't know, in banking site and all, you will not be sending the data like this in raw format. you will try to encode the data and then send it. Even in form data, if you go and see, if I left click here, left click, can you see here encode URI component? From
Yes,
the
ma'am.
client, you will not send users data directly as in a raw format. Okay, because it is going in through your network, right? There is a possibility of hacking users data when the data from a client is reaching the server. So that most of the websites, big production websites and all, will try to encode your data in the client and then send it, so that if there is any middleman trying to hack, they will not be able to get the data whichever you are sending it. Let's not focus, let's understand that there's form data and encoded one as well. So for both of this, you will have to use this like middleware in order to tell your Express server that I'm not only going to get JSON kind of data, I can also get form data, so parse that as well. If you don't give this line, you will be getting empty only in the body. Understood? Understood the difference of handling various kind of data? If
Yes,
I
ma'am.
give GraphQL, okay, if you try to give any data here, binary other, for that also you will have to add that, and you have to tell your Express server that I'm handling these kind of data, else it will not pass. For now, I am handling with JSON and form data, so I have added this alone. And understood how to get form data. I think today's assignment also, it is on a HTML form and then send that data, right? Try to parse it as a form data and then try to get that. Any doubts so far, guys? Rahul, hi. Yeah. Bhavan and Rahul have joined later. Any doubts with how to handle form data from HTML? See, if you see here, if I go to post, that also will be added. Can you see it's added? First, it was an empty, right? I made an empty call. Yes, it's something invalid. We haven't validated, and that's the reason all these are happening. But whatever, I have just added it into my file, and that's the reason it's being printed as of now. Understood the difference? Why this? Mostly you will find these two lines together in all the projects. Where is that line? Okay, I'm seeing it in another file. Mostly these two things you will see. Okay, because form data is something common from HTML forms and all. Okay, so you will see those. Any doubts on this? Do anyone of you know about the extended keyword here? Extended true. Anyone of you know? Have
Yes,
you
ma'am.
used
We use in body parser also, ma'am.
body? Yes, body parser, both things. But what is it doing? Body parser and all is same. Now both are being mixed together and everything is
Yeah.
being served from Express itself. What it is
Like,
doing? What extended is doing? Any idea on that?
no, ma'am.
No. Okay. So if I go back to Express and show you, why should I go to Express or not? If you go and no, you can debug here itself. Can you see body parser and Express? We are using from Express, so let's go there. Internally, it is using body parser, right? Can you see Express is internally using body parser only? I can also show you. Can you see from import body parser? So let's go back to that part. Okay. This is an middleware. It parses incoming. I don't think they have options being listed here. Okay, options are here. So these are the options. Can you see extended here? This means allows you to choose between two parsing and to parse encoding. Okay. So there are two libraries. This dot, where is that? Okay. Whenever you give URL encoded, this method, right? This middleware is using two libraries. One is the query string library, and the other is the query library, QS library, sorry, QS library and query string library. Okay. both are different and both are doing it in their own way of how to parse the data and all. Okay, so when you give false, it will use query string library to parse the data for you. And if you give true, it will use QS library. Okay, that's the only difference here. Okay, but people know, if you if you have interest and if you go deep and see, query string library has very limited capability. Okay, here, if you see here, this data is very simple, right? Key value pairs, just a key and a string. But you can expect very complex data from the client. Let's say you can have nested objects, nested JSON objects. Okay, it's just now, as of now, my data is very simple. Key and then a string. You can have multiple nested objects here, an array here. Okay, a complex data might be coming from the thing, and your query string library is not as efficient as QS library. Okay, there are certain differences how these two libraries are working. So people prefer to have extended as true here, so that you are using QS library instead of just query string library. Okay, but for simple use cases, as we saw, right, even if you don't give, you will get it. Even if it's a false, you will get it. But add extended true, QS library is something very common. So yeah. Any doubts on this? What your extended is doing? Always, as I told you, right? I showed you the extending. Select control or command, right? Go click that. Most of the code, your libraries and all will be there in the node modules. You can go and check. They will have, all detailed comments and all added there. There, it is practically impossible to know all the libraries and all. Okay, so develop the habit of reading the other people codes as well. That is how you learn, and that is how you can develop your skill. Okay, let us say you are keeping on no, you don't read others code, and you know whatever, with whatever you know, you are developing, you will miss many things here. The major thing is how to write a more modularized code. Okay, if you do 10 lines of code to do a task, okay, there might be other ways of writing in 3 lines itself, 3 or 4 lines itself. Try to understand that is how you update. Okay, more than coding, reading the code is a skill that you will have to develop, because when you go to other companies and all, right, so when you start working in production projects, mostly you will not be working in a fresh project. Like in 99%, like it is not like a new project that you will be recruited for and you will be working in a new project. Mostly you will be in a project which is already in life, and hundreds of people are already working there. Okay, so there might be multiple codes which are already lined and thousands of files already. So you need to develop the habit of reading others' code. No, the one way is to read this libraries, whatever you are using in your code. Instead of just simply randomly looking at code, go and check what the static is doing internally. Okay, these are all TypeScript codes. If you see here, .ts TypeScript code. If you want, very certain details will be here in the code. You can also go and check the raw code as well. Okay, try to read what these functions and all doing. In the first place, when you are practicing, you can use as much as libraries you want. Okay, once you are done and once you get some confidence, go and try to read what each of these functions are doing, what they are, how they have written internally, what's the code they have written, so that you learn from that. That is how you develop your the skill of writing code. Else you will be behind the recent trends and all, you will not know. Okay, for example, this body parser itself, I was not updated with the fact that you can use X. I thought this is the old one. Okay, because when they developed, it was all bundled together and then they separated as body parser. Still it is maintained, it's not a third party library, it's maintained by the Express team itself. And most of the thing they will use on this only. When I was reading about body parser yesterday, I came to know that they have no appended body parser again to express itself. So we need not install this third-party library. So always try to update yourself by reading others' code and stay updated. That's how you learn. So reading HTML form data is done. What are the other things you wanted to do? You know how to debug Node.js applications? Everyone?
No, ma'am.
You should know the client, right? You will have the client code. You will simply put the console, open console, correct? Open the source file. Whatever you have, you will just put a debugger and then watch it here. But in the Node.js, we don't have console here. We don't have debugger. Okay, let us try to debug this application. Okay, in your, this is running this server. Okay, any one of you know already how to debug node duplications?
No.
Okay, so what you can do is simply put debugger here. Can you see red points? Okay, instead of starting, let's stop. Okay, go to your yeah, you will have run and debug here. Click that. Yeah, click run and debug and check. Okay, you will be asked environments. No, is it a Chrome? If it is a client application, do it in Chrome. Now we have Node.js, so click Node.js environment. Okay, and then you are debug. Now let's try to hit post and let's see if it is being hit or not. Trying to hit it. Can you see it's being stopped? In your machine, you will see this part. Okay. In the console you have, right? In the console, where do you go to next step and all? Using this exact same thing will be available in your Node.js as well, in your VS Code. Can you see the variables here? Locally, I have request, response, and then this object. These are all local objects, right? You will have all your local objects here. Okay, can you see closure? Everything, whatever we saw in the console, right? We saw scoping here. In this part, your local and global will be there. Everything will be here now. Okay, so you will see local, you will see closure if you have anything, and then you will see global as well. Global objects. Can you see set interval, clear timeout and all in the global objects? Similar to how you had in the client, right? Set timeout and all is in the window object, right or wrong?
Right.
Yeah. So all those you will have it in the global Node.js environment as well. All the array, all default things, everything you can go and see. All the things which were present in the window object will be here in the global object, but specific things like you cannot see navigator and all here, right? So you can see JSON, right? Some things we know already. If you can see here, we can see function, okay, error, date file, boolean file, all these set a timeout, all those are in the global thing. So that is how you do that. Can you see call stack here? Okay, this is the Node.js call stack. It is also single threaded only. Okay, here you will see all the script running, not that much of importance. Here you will see all the breakpoints you have in the entire application. You can simply go to next step using the same method which you already have. For few people, since this is a async file, it is coming to the next line. If you want to go inside and check, simply play and pause. It will go to next file. Since it is an error, it's trying to add error and then you are returned. These are all same. No, nothing complex, I believe. Okay. Can you try it in your machines? For some, you might need to run current file. You might need to specify that explicitly. Can you try and see if you are able to debug? Debugging is a skill also we will have to develop. Okay, you cannot be simply putting console.log everywhere and check. Okay, console.log, initial, if you are developing applications, yes, you are learning now. That phase, it's okay. But, get away from this habit of adding console.log everywhere. Okay, it's not a good practice. And let's say it's a multiple error and you don't know. Do you think you will be adding this console.log everywhere? Not correct, right? And then you'll have to add, and then you have to remove. All those processes there. So try to debug your Node.js applications. Any doubts on debugging your Node.js? Is everyone able to do? Bhushan, Abhishek, Nileshwar and all?
Yes.
Okay. Others? Rag, Rahul, Srinivas, Bhavan. Are you able to debug? Do you
Yes,
get any issues? Okay, let's go to CSV files. So now let us go to, I think, read script, right? That is should be in this one. Can we go to that part, reading CSV files? Any doubts on debugging so far?
Open your debug terminal, means like debug console.
This one?
Not this one, debug where we had run the.
This one.
So 89 in bottom 89, 58, 67 is what they denote.
89 and 57. Where is it?
In bottom app.js 89, left side.
This one is it?
Right.
Let me quickly run and see.
Number of lines.
Okay.
Okay.
Line numbers where we put that. Got it.
Oh.
Yes.
Not the, yes, the line numbers exactly. Okay. Others are able to do. Any doubts on debugging? Very important. So let's go to the CSV parser and look at what, let's first try to parse the CSV file and let's see what are the difficulties we are facing if we try to use the same thing. It's in day 4. I have a sample CSV data, which this is the header on each month. How many number of air travels is being made? I don't know what data is this. I simply downloaded from internet. I believe it's a year or something. Yeah, that must be it. Okay. So now if I go to app.js, let's comment all this. Let's take the importing and let's work on reading alone, reading plain data. Instead of reading the txt file, let me read the CSV file. Okay, and let me try to print the entire data. A4. Okay, I have not encoded it. Add UTF-8. Now I think it should run. Okay. Yes, CSV is also in text format only. It is a kind of Excel file. If you open in Excel file, let me open in the Excel file and show you. This is not the Excel file, this is table data. Okay, this is, I don't understand one thing. Oh, this is addresses one. Okay. Air travel, where is it?
Find with search.
No, it's not there actually. I'm trying to copy and paste it. So okay, this is another CSV file. I have this in here only, and this try, if I drag and drop, this will remove here. I was trying to copy
How
this
is it
file and
possible it's available in your Node.js folder but not in this?
no, I tried to download it and I just dragged and dropped and then added it in this folder. Okay, so earlier it was here, I just dragged and dropped and then put it in this folder. So it was not present there. Okay, so yeah. So let's open this in the Excel file and then show you the format of the data first. So this is the heading, okay. This is the header. All will be, no, you can open, this is in CSV format, but if you can also open in the Excel and see, it is instead of Excel extension, it would be in CSV extension, which are just comma separated values. Okay, all these comma separated values will be in this format, where if you try to read this kind of files, right, you will get this entire thing like this. Okay, so if you let us say I want fourth data, right? Do you think you can loop that? It is plain text format.
No, not possible.
Yes, you cannot loop that, and let's say you want fifth data or fourth data. It's kind of difficult. Plain text, you cannot parse, you cannot loop in. You need to know the content of the data to loop in first. And similarly, you don't know, even if you parse, let's say you are parsing and you're trying to get this content. Okay, even if you parse, you don't know what each one of them, what my first column is. It is a month or is it second column? That data you don't have. Okay, it is not in a JSON format like a key value pairs, which will give you the meaning of what the data is. Key will give you the meaning, right? If my key name is age, it means that the value denotes age, right? You have some meaning to the data, whereas in CSV format data you don't have much of meaning. So there is a third party. Again, you can still do, okay, you can still parse it, you get the data, you have the text raw data for you, but it's not in a developer friendly way to parse and iterate through it. Okay, so that only we are using this third party libraries and all. They have done few boilerplate code which will be common for all CSV files, right? For all CSV files, the data format is going to be same. So I can they have developed a common library to handle all the basic use cases. Understood? So let us see what it is doing as of now. So this is CSV parser, right? What do I have? CSV parse. Any library you can use. I don't think I have this in the NPM registry of PayPal's. Let me quickly. Most of them they won't have. Let me try to install this CSV parser and see. Yesterday we tried to install this rate limiter, right? I didn't get. Okay, they have it. Okay, so let's go back to whole. Let us say this is the CSV file, right? This is the CSV file. If you try to do it using CSV parser, that is pipe it. If you see here, you are just creating a read stream, okay, and then piping it to CSV method, whichever this library is providing. So the data which you are getting is something an array with objects like name is this and age is this. How easy, like it is a JSON object. Is this easier compared to our way of reading the data,
It's
right?
converting each row in a object, right?
Yes, it is converting each row as the object, and at the same time, it is taking the first row as the header, as the JSON key, and then giving it to you in each object. Like name is Jaffy Duck and age is 24. Okay, this is more developer friendly, meaning I can loop to it. I know the key, I know the values, I can handle it, I can do array operations, multiple things I can do rather than having one single data, right? Correct. So can we do the same thing here? Okay, can we try to use this library? Yes, CSV parse also you can use. This is parser. This seems to be a pretty famous one because there are multiple downloads. Okay, I have installed that CSV parser. Let me go and use that. First, what you will have to do is, I still doubt if it will support. Let us see. First, I'll have to import the library. Okay, so they are telling you to use read stream, right? So that you pipe it. Okay, so that is a better option instead of handling. You don't know the size of the CSV files. Okay, so better use this one. So let's go, don't copy paste and all, let's go each step by step. So create read stream. First name is the files as how we used to do it. And what is the second param? It's an encoding thing. Probably they didn't give any encoding. Let's see. Okay. Similar to how you pipe it to write stream, right? You can simply do pipe and then mention this middleware. This stream, I think it is returning a write stream. It should return a write stream. Yeah. Okay. So it is returning in the way that this pipe method is accepting. Okay. So I created a read stream, I piped it. So every time you do event, okay, yes, you can save this in a variable const, okay, CSV reader, and then add it for a better readability dot on. Every time I receive, I need to attach a data event, and on every data event you will be getting the data, right? Can we try to print the data and see what we are getting? Console.log data. Understood this part? Nothing complex. Let's see if we are getting the result. Okay. If you see here, everything is a JSON object, okay, which is giving you month as Jan, correct? That is the data which we have. Okay. So if you see here, now there is an issue. It's a string, right? So similar to how you have month, you are not getting the same way. Possibly what they are doing is adding everything from after comma till the other comma. Understood what the issue is? What we will have to do is, now the default separator is comma, right?
No, this CSV file is delimited. So first we have to check that
Yes,
CSV.
yes. The CSV file is not in the correct format. You have plenty of spaces here.
Right.
Right. So one thing which you can use is add separator. If you go back, can you see CSV separator? You have an options. It is a tab space. I can simply give that, I believe.
This
Let
for
me
the
go back. This could be?
This for the delimiter as we talk in Excel or CSV language.
Yeah. Delimiters. So, okay, it's not tab space. Let's give a simple space and then check.
And try column, column true.
Colon.
Yes, ma'am. Column. No, ma'am. Not separator, ma'am. Column.
Oh,
Ma'am. I have sent the code.
okay, columns. I don't see that here. Let's see. Mhm.
Tab is for space, as we
Possibly, yeah.
remember. But there's
Tab, but I think, yeah, let's see. This is,
extra, we have to remove the extra space.
yeah, removing will work, but we cannot keep on changing the input, right? Input of the file. Let's give double space. I don't think it will work, but no. Without separator, at least I got month correctly. Let us try to remove the space. But I don't think like the values will still be the same, right? The value part will still be like, everything is in one single object. There's no key value pairs, no.
Is there any specification like trim?
Trim month is working. Okay. The reason I think is it is because of numbers. Let us change this to some random strings and see.
No,
Mhm.
this
Yeah,
doesn't
trim.
create.
Yeah, this will not give the change. Yeah, that's the reason actually. Since it's numbers, if you see the JSON objects, right? If you see the objects, only strings can be denoted by a dot operator. If it is a number, you will have to use a square bracket notation, right?
Right.
Yeah, so JavaScript objects, if you have the key name, let us go to the console and I'll explain. Now let's have a const obj, which is equal to, let's have string as the key and let's have number as the value. I go and ask for obj, right? If I wanted to access this 10, okay, it's a number, right? It will not work. So if it is a number, you will have to
Bracket
mention
notation.
like this. Then only it will, in bracket, you will have to mention as a string. Okay. By default, even if you give number, it will convert it to a string format like that. So in the file as well, I had numbers in the
We remove this from
this one.
no.
What do you want to change?
Instead of
So,
me like manipulating the data, we just remove the colon.
this one.
Right. This will also work.
I think so. Let's see. That's the reason we will have to be very sure of the incoming data. I think that's also not working because it's a numbers, right? So it's trying to parse. Yeah.
Right now we have the data, so we will we manipulate that data.
Yes.
But what if the client send that data in that format? Then we have to change it by own, or we have to tell the client to send in a proper format. What we have to do?
In production based applications and all, whenever you try to upload any data, I have worked in an application in Zoho where and the application is a contract management application, right? Let's say I have an organization, I can have multiple contracts with external vendors, right? So the entire contract workflow, starting from the discussion phase till the signing phase, the entire workflow will be managed by that application. So there is a possibility that when they are migrating from other tools, right, from our tool, what we ask is to give us our Excel or CSV file. Okay, we will state the format of the file in the application itself. Okay, we want it in this way. This should be the header. This should be the value. Simply, you cannot accept any files without any knowledge on what the file is. Okay, you can code it in only one particular way, right? In a generalized format only, you can code it. Okay, you need to tell the format. These are the columns I need. These should be the headers, and values can be anyhow. But these are the columns I'm expecting. Okay, so you can also give no feasibility, or no, you can give flexibility, saying that these are optional columns. You can or you cannot add. Optional columns might be there, but this is the column name. This is the number of columns I am expecting. Okay, generally, that information will be there in the client side. You will simply not have a button to upload files, and you cannot expect the data, right? What will happen is you will throw an error. Okay, so you will throw an error, but the user will not understand what the error is. So better we give the data format what we are expecting in points in the client itself, so that even when the error is thrown, the user will be able to check the format according to the format what you are asking for. Understood? That would be the general case, and that's how big applications and all work. Okay, so yeah, but that's the solution we have. You cannot expect a generalized approach for all kind of data. Okay. Yes, so that's the issue which we are facing. Again, see, this library is handling it in this way, right? You are expecting some way and it's giving you in this way. You can also check other libraries, how they are working, how it is being supported, what works best for you. Okay, so if you see here, this is not the only way, I believe. There might be. Okay. If the files have no headers, you can also specify the headers, it seems. Let's try to change. Let's try to mention that and see. What is this columns doing, Prag? Any idea on that?
I used to CSV parse, and there it worked.
CSV parts. Okay, okay. Yeah, because I didn't see that in the options here. Okay, maybe that is the library. The not every library follows the same thing. Okay, probably that is the reason. Let's give this and see how it is trying to read it. Okay, it is taking every value, like it is mentioned, it is assuming that this is not the header, and it is taking that also similar to how the other rows are. And the first thing is assigned to name, and then the second is the age. Let's suppose you have a file without headers, you can do this. The other things and all you haven't mentioned, so it is just assigning to underscore. This is 0, 1, 2, and 3. Right? We can set the keys, correct? So what is the advantage here? This is an object. Simply, you know what's the object. You know that the object will have name, right? Dot, you can simply give name. Now, if I go and rerun this again, can you see all the names and all? I got it. Much developer friendly. You can use what? This is a JSON object now. You can do whatever you want to do. Similar way how you handle JSON files, you can do that. Try to do it in your application. Okay,
But
try to
still
have.
I'm confused, means like, can you convert it to the proper JSON as you did earlier, like change the
Yes.
header name, header name in a
Okay, header
CSV
name.
file by manual in CSV file?
Yeah.
No, change
Okay, the CSV itself. Okay.
change it to the.
Let's have the. Okay.
So in a single object, it's showing month Jan, day 340, year 360, and DDS 417, right?
Yes, yes.
But as we see the CSV file,
Mm.
in a single object, it has to return month, uh, anything like a month, the day, and then Jan 340, Feb 318, March 362 by their day, not by their years. As we see that earlier, but each column has the data for the particular years, right?
Are you saying that if I give dot month, all the months should be listed?
No.
Oh,
My thought is like the object has to contain the single year data for all 12 months, not for the particular years.
I don't understand. Can you just give the format of the data which you are expecting?
Like month 1958 as the data earlier, 1958,
Okay. Mhm.
comma, Jan,
Oh, okay.
and data 412, anything,
Yeah, 340 is it? This one. Jan
340.
is 340. Okay. Got it. Got your answer. Okay. Key
Then
value
Feb,
pairs are JSON, right? So Feb is 318, March is 362,
right.
April
So
is.
that's the proper format to read the data, because currently we are not reading the data in a proper format.
That is respect to how the CSV file is listed, right?
CSV
So-
file is listed in a proper format.
Mhm.
It's the way the data is sent from another source.
Yes,
But
yes.
the way
But-
we have to learn the data or read the data, that's one is the proper one. So,
Got it.
after that we can get the means like year 1958 May data. This one is the May data. Jan data. This one is the Jan data. Because there is a cross verification of every data in every year.
Yeah. So what the parser is doing as of now is it's treating this as the headers are the object keys, and all these are object values. Okay. So that is how they have designed. So ideally, let's say you are getting users data. You will be having username, user age, and no education details.
Right.
All this in separate columns, right? So
Right.
and at each column you will have some data, comma,
Exactly.
21, comma, whatever it is. Like this is how it is, right? So username is this one, age is this one, education is that this one. So this is how the format of the data, incoming data should be there. So you have to make
So
the
the thing is, I'm means like pointing is like this one is the data which we are getting from the
yes,
CSV, right?
correct.
So can we means manipulate by our code or by the Node.js anything like transpose the things in a month, as we month is in a row,
Got it.
that can be passed to in a column, and the row column thing passed to the month.
Got it. The question you are asking, but I don't think by the third party libraries you can do. But if you see here, you are getting the entire data only, right?
Uh,
So
this part is clear,
yeah,
but
yes. You will have to write the code to in order to translate that. For that, you know what you can do is just leave this library itself. No, we can write it on our own or search for any library which is supporting the feature which you are asking, right? So the possibility to how the way it reads. Let's check this library for now.
okay, sure.
Yeah, map headers, a function that is used to modify the values of each header, return a string to modify the header, return now to remove and its column from the results. Okay, so this is to add values. Okay, this is the header and this is the value. If you wanted to change the format in each of this thing is returning, right? So you have a space. Let's say this is a string. Let's say you wanted to convert it to a number. Okay, you can do thus like this. The value will be the string now. You can use that number function to change it to a number itself. All these you can do, but raw if true instructs a parser to not blue code, separator understood, comments if there are. Skip lines, max row, strict if row, instead of a parcel with the number of row columns in each row. Okay, this is for, I don't think this is supporting it. Yeah, possibly we will have to check if we can change the header part and all. This is not supporting. Prag, did you check CSV parts? Is it doing?
What, ma'am?
CSV parts, are you able to change the format in which the header is being taken? Can you make this, column as a header?
I was
Like Jan is the header, like key. Jan is the key and this is the value. Is
I have
that
not,
possible?
maybe, but I have not tried.
Okay, okay.
No,
Let's check.
madam. Actually, the first line will be the key always.
Yes, yes, it is. But I am just, his question is correct, right? Like, who asked? Is it Rupam
Shubham.
or Shubham? Okay.
Yeah.
That might be some possibilities that you can expect keys to be in this way, right? So I'm just trying to find if any library is supporting that.
In my opinion, we just have to find the how to transpose the column or
Yes,
row.
yes, yeah, that configuration should be there.
Just to
Like,
transpose this thing.
I was dealing, I have to give column as true. So maybe if I give column as false and a row as true, maybe it will work.
Let's see this one. Delimiter you have. Not much of a documentation here on this thing. Let's check. Where did you check a lot of options? Okay. Okay, columns generate records as object literals instead of arrays. List of fields, the user defined callback, the defaults to null, affects the result. This doesn't deal with, right? Group columns by name. Convert values of, I think header, something from header. This has a lot of options from to and all, from line, in which line you wanted to start. On record, raw, record, delimiter. You have this trim and all. Shubham, like we were seeing that, right? Like this trim option and all is there, I believe.
Right.
Yes. Yeah, trim is there.
Okay, leave it.
Yes, yes. We will have to
No,
read the
means like in just use
documentation.
it because the
Mhm.
data thing is, I'm more flexible with the data things.
Yes.
So that's why I just raised the question because
Yeah, just
that's what a problem
explore.
is.
Like this is the default. It is accepting the first thing to be header because that is how Excel files are also, right?
Right, right. Always.
Mostly the first row would be the header, and less to change the ordering. They might, it might be taken as an improvement for the CSV parser thing as well, but I don't think they'll implement it. But yeah, let's explore, and if you come to know, let me know.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Others, any doubts with, yes, I had few things and we are done with the topic. Any other doubts you wanted to discuss?
Ma'am, can we run two scripts with only one command by writing it in package.json?
Yes, yes, that you can do. As I told, right? Script. What you can do is you can just mention start. Normally, if you see here, no one will use this node command and all. They'll just do npm run start. So you can just mention start. And this is two commands if you see here. Let me try to run the npm test and show you. Npm run test. If you see here, it will execute all the commands which you have, right? So let's say I wanted to do npm start. What is the command which we were using? Node, right? Node ./app.js. Now if I try to do npm run start, Can you see? It's being run. So every time you need not mention the file name and all. Let's say you wanted to do it in a dev environment. So instead of using node command, you can use nodemon. Okay, and then mention the starting file. So this is dev. So this is how your bigger projects and all will be there. You can go and check npm run dev. So this will start your program in nodemon. So every time you make a change, it will be reflected. So you can mention this commands like this. Let us say you want to run multiple commands. I think you can mention it with and. I don't think so. Let me quickly check. Run multiple. For testing, they will use. I think it should be with ampersand. Yeah, ampersand, correct. You can simply mention ampersand, ampersand, and then give the next command here. Okay, for start, I don't think what can the other command be. Let's do and see npm install. Let's see if it's happened. Let me card. This is not a use case. Simply, I'm just trying if the is being executed. Yes, both are being after your first operation is done. Can you see npm install is being done?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so that is how you add it. Generally, you don't add this in start and all. Start and all will have one thing only. When you are doing testing, right, there might be multiple files where you have mentioned test. Okay, so you can simply list all of them when you are using test. So these are called npm scripts. So instead of every time mentioning this command, you can simply configure that in your npm package and then use npm run start. You can also see in all the package, no things. I don't. Yeah. Can you see here? Bench, linting, ESLint and all, I'll tell you, very good for formatting. Can you see tests here? So they are using this library to test. There are multiple things, multiple libraries. Okay, so they have multiple commands configured. So every time they need not mention all this huge file to do the test. So simply if we give npm run test, it will run. And yeah, you can see in all the things, every project will have that. Who wants to simply mention the file name and all? Yeah, tests they have. Any other doubts? Okay, we
Ma'am,
didn't have, yes.
I had a problem. I will share the screen like after the class.
Okay, yes, I will show you. Can. Any other doubts, guys? Others?
No.
Okay, sure. Rupam, Srinivas, P. Bhavan. Anything new learned from today's class? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I think like MCQs are not mandatory, right? No need. I haven't
No,
given
ma'am.
any MCQ. Okay, then let's leave that. Okay, Prag, you can share the screen for those of you who are leaving. Let me create the attendance. Yes, done for Baba batch and for Tata batch also. Yes, Prag, you can share the screen. I'll stop it. I'll give you. Yes, giving permissions.
Is my screen is visible, ma'am?
Yes.
So ma'am, I have like two different. I have a server and a client,
Okay.
and when I'm doing npm server, npm run server,
Mhm.
it's running the server, and if I do npm client, it's running the client.
Okay.
But when I'm doing to run both, it's not running at a time. Like I have to give like two different like terminal I have to open for it.
Mhm.
So that's the issue I'm facing.
What you cannot mention npm run server and npm run client like this. I think you have to mention the entire line in line 10. I think like let me quickly check. Watch prefix. Can you try and ampersand? What is the difference between these two?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, ma'am, this server will never stop. Right?
Mhm.
So after like loading, it have to come.
Okay.
So maybe the request will not go to there. Let's npm.
I showed you the example, right? The server was still
Yes, ma'am.
alive only. Okay, yeah.
But ma'am, I'm
It's
using the
stopping it.
front. Yes, ma'am. Front end also. So
Mhm.
that's why. Yeah. So the server is running.
Okay.
The my server is running, but the client is not. And if I do like it first, then my client
Client
will
has
run, but yeah, server will. That's
okay.
happening.
Okay. Inside your server folder, you have an index.js file, is it?
Uh, in not index.js, ma'am. I have app.js.
App.js. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. And in the server package.json, I have mentioned to start as server app.js, server.js.
Mhm. I have a yes. Got it. Let me quickly check. I have one project in my system which is doing this.
And I'm like, if my client is running at a different port and my server is running at different port.
Yes.
So when I like, how will I deploy it on like on cloud like Heroku or
I
because they
think. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
yeah because like I have seen like they use environment dot port something like that, right, ma'am? Like
Yes.
whatever they have available port, they will run it on. So I'm confused how to.
Yeah, we will see the deploying part and all. You will have to configure some remote configs and all in order to
Mhm.
do it in the application. When you do it in the remote config, then it will be better to get that. I think you will have to use concurrently keyword, I believe. Have you
Mm,
tried that?
no, ma'am.
Okay, let me, yeah. I have a project which is doing the same, similar to how you have a server npm and then your client npm, and then you have a common one. So I think add a keyword
Mhm.
concurrently. Wait, let me just check if that's the exact one. Okay, yes, use concurrently before npm run server.
Is it correct now?
Yeah, give me a minute. I concurrently, yes. Concurrently spelling wrong. CONCURR. What you can do is that is again another package. Okay. So first install that concurrently package, and then yeah, I'll try to give you a link. Okay. Yeah, I have sent you the command in the chat. Yeah. Yes. I've sent you the command in the chat. Everyone, yeah. Can you just first install that package? LY Prague.
Okay.
Yeah. After installing, in your watch key, mention all the commands alone separated by, like this in backward slash. Yeah, I'll give you a sample
Mhm.
in the command itself. If you can see the sample here, concurrently is the first keyword, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And then you have hyphen I will kill others is optional if it is being run, and then add backward slashes. Inside that, in the colon, add the command whatever you wanted. Yes.
Single or double, ma'am? Single.
No, first after concurrently add the backward slash.
Okay.
Space, backward slash.
Okay.
Quotes, double quotes. No, don't give space. Can you just check the command I have given in the chat? It will be useful for you then. npm run start watch is there, right? Yeah, that one. Clear the space immediately before. Yeah, that one. Clear that space. And at the end, after server, add one more backslash. After npm run server, add one more backslash. Yeah.
Here, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. I think it's. Give a space between two of them. There's no space.
Where, ma'am?
After server quotes, the end quotes, right? Yes. No. Next.
Okay.
Yeah, correct. After quotes, after double quotes. Yes. Can you save and run now? Try it. There's some other error, I believe. Module not found. Have you
Oh.
installed CORS?
Okay. It's loading server. Okay. Front end, I guess, loaded.
Okay.
And because
Your CORS module is not there.
no course was running in. Okay. But my backend is not running.
Can you
But
go back? There's an issue here, like, right? Your front end is working. Can you go up in the terminal? Can you scroll up?
Yeah.
Yes. The before that, go one step forward. Yes. Can you just clear that error? Module CORS. But actually, it's working that the module
right.
is not found there.
Right.
Yeah.
But if I do, let me npm run server.
You have the same error here as well, right?
Maybe there is some course. Fine, I will figure it out. But
Yeah.
yeah, it worked.
Yes. This is another library which is supporting this.
Fine. Thank you so much, ma'am.
No problem. Yeah. Others, Rupam, Shubham, Srinivas, Bhavan, any doubts? Yes, a good structure, an example which Praga showed, that is how you add a full stack application. Okay, generally, one other thing is if it is a monolith application, you can club them into a project. Okay, but in today's world, none of the projects are like this. Okay, there is a separate thing to do for client and separate repository for server, because dependency, right? If your client is breaking, you need not break your server just because your client has some issues. So good structure to start with. Have that structure good with the npm scripts and all. Good, Prag. Yeah, others also, I hope you are developing projects in the similar way. Yes. Okay. Srinivas, Bhavan, any projects are you working on currently? Rupam, Shubham, do you want to share any projects? Not now? Okay. Try
I'm
to do.
only
Yes.
doing CCs and revising the lectures.
Yes, but on the side in your Saturdays and Sundays, yes, I know it's kind of difficult. I do understand that it's too much to handle. people doing your day jobs or going to colleges, but at least start. So whenever you get time, the starting trouble is the biggest trouble. Start so that you don't, think of starting itself. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, ma'am.
Any project, Rupam, anything, at least start. Okay. The best thing I would say is start with your portfolio, do your front end part, have, instead of adding all the details in the client, have a backend to serve your data. Okay. So start with your portfolio is the best thing. You can use it lifelong. You can modify it whenever you want it. Yes, movie app is good for, CRUD operations. Start the projects. Shubham also, please start. Bhavan, start the projects. I'm expecting some projects from you. Prag also, I believe is it a project or is it for practice?
It was project, ma'am. I'm using NASA's real data.
Okay, yes, I saw it. Okay, good. If you don't have any backend also, there are multiple APIs, free APIs available. Try to use them. Yes, good Rupam. Portfolio using React. You already know Rupam, React?
No, ma'am, learning right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you are confident with JavaScript, yes, you can proceed with it. You will feel a lot of stuffs in React, cool stuffs. The DOM thing, especially the DOM, right? DOM is something
So that's why I
very
took batch transfer, ma'am.
Okay. Oh, so
The
you
first
earlier you were in?
in Abdul Kalam batch.
Oh, okay. Yash was your instructor, is it?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you are again learning React now?
No, ma'am. Actually, I didn't understand at that time the Node advanced part,
Okay.
and due to some pressure, I just
Okay. Got
take
it.
batch transfer. Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Do some projects, learn. React is something, as I said earlier in the DOM, if you remember, I don't know, DOM is something very expensive. Okay, expensive operation. By that I mean, whenever a change to your DOM, if you do, the entire page has to be repainted. Okay, it is expensive. So when your application grows big, it will be difficult and it will become slow. So React solves that in a very beautiful way with JavaScript objects, right? Your DOM objects is expensive, but your JavaScript objects is very fast to handle. So what they have done is put your entire DOM structure into a JavaScript object. So if you do that, automatically your system will be fast, right? So that's the very major thing that React is trying to solve. Yes, Rupam, virtual DOM. Okay, we will learn more about that. It will be interesting, and most of the easier way you can develop applications. Okay, guys, thanks for joining today. Have a great weekend. We will catch up on Monday. Okay, good night.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Good night.
Right, ma'am.
Good night. Bye.
Good night, ma'am.